Okay, we are live. Hi, this is William Ramsey. Welcome to William Ramsey Investigates. On today's show, I have a very special guest, a returning guest, somebody who's been out of the country a few months. I'm glad to have him back. Dr. Hans Utter, last name Utter. We've done a number of shows. I was trying to list them in the pre-show when we were chatting, but we've done two series. The first one we did, which I think was 8 episodes, was MK Ultra for the Masses. Music is the Weapon. And today is January 18th, 2025. In December 2024, there was a 1,200-page document dump into the George Washington, I think, library or something like that, of a lot of old documents. There were the Marx documents. The guy who was the researcher who wrote the book with Marx-Jetty, which I mentioned in earlier shows, The Cult of Intelligence, but also I think he was the one to search for the Manchurian Candidate. But those documents are related to him, and there's a bunch of new stuff a lot of people are going through, and Hans and I were talking about in the pre-show. But so MK Ultra is back in the news, still of interest. And then we also did 9 episodes. We're also talking about this in the pre-show because I actually heard this guy Dmitry Orlov mention the word egregore, the concept of egregore, which is kind of the finish of our 9-episode series on advanced Soviet research on cybernetics, biofield energetics, and cognitive restructuring. So you can check those out in my archives. Very well worth your time to just listen to those. It just shows how advanced and different thinking the Russians have, and how technically clever and astute they are, like from engineering and things like that. A different kind of thinking, obviously, but brilliant people. We also did a show on genetic holocaust, Donald Campbell's performance, the movie top 100 movies according to the British Film Institute. Campbell sat on the literal knee of Crowley, an occultist too. We did a Black Pill digest with Sean McCann. We sat down and did Kinsey with McCann too, like the dark history of Alfred Kinsey, which nobody really wants to talk about as much. You hear about it here and there. I think Ed Opperman did a show on that, but his show is Eyes Wide Open, so you can check out his show and his website. I'll put a link to his website. But yeah, we've done a lot of shows. This will be our either 22nd or 23rd show. Title of it is The Trump Derangement Syndrome, Psychopolitics, and the Mass Mind. So Dr. Hans Utter, welcome back to the show.
Hey, it's great to be here, William, and I'm glad you're keeping safe with the fire and all of these pretty crazy events that are going on. And we were talking in the pre-show about the sequence of all these different attacks, incidents, disasters. I mean, North Carolina, Hawaii, now California, this and that. So in a certain way, in my estimation, these are all interlinked, and I think they also serve multiple purposes, right? There's multiple types of purposing, and it's in the broadcasting and the representation of these events, really, that their power, is much greater than, say, the actual kinetic force that's deployed. But I was in Turkey, all over South Asia, primarily India. Stayed in a lot of these like remote villages, stayed in a place with this insurgency. Everyone said you may get kidnapped. Didn't have any problems. They were about a year or two ago, they were kidnapping people and whatever, roasting them on the fire. So, wow. But I didn't have issues. But that's another example. This insurgency actually turns out, because I thought there's got to be something behind this, right? These are basically tribals. They're called, again, the Boros. It turns out, no, this was funded by the Congress Party to destabilize the state of Assam. And it ended up, going off the reservation. So a lot of these events, it's important to be balanced in your awareness and your approach, to have discernment. Not everything. There are things, I think, that are absolutely scripted and fake, but there's many things that are not. And it's sort of a fine line. And just on that note, before I dive into the material, the book that was written, 11 or 15 years before the Titanic sank, right? This novel, and the name of the boat was the Titan, and it sank by hitting an iceberg. Now, did that guy have a vision? Is that a prophecy? Is that, predictive programming?
Right.
It's
Look at the movie Utopia. Like Utopia is about, or the 1-2 on V for Vendetta. They're talking about a released bioweapon, but the real trick is that it's not even the weapon. It's that they're going to do a double take on the shots. That's put out in what, 2014, and then it plays out in real world, right? So these things happen. And the movie we were trying to remember in the pre-show is Leave the World Behind, right? That
Okay.
has all these
Yes.
natural disasters. And all those natural disasters that you mentioned, they have a lot of things in common, which is the helplessness, debility, and dread associated with them. They're not getting fixed. Like Lahaina is still a wasteland. Like they've just shut everything off and you can't get in there. So like these are much more incredible events, whether they're planned or not. But the fact that they're not trying to rebuild or come like their own baloney, like aphorism, build back better, it's not really happening. It's incredible.
Well, there is the, the fifth generation warfare, which is what we're in. We are now in a kinetic phase, I believe, very strongly, because we're seeing also revelations, that occult term, right? Revelation of the method. So, but this is revelation of, for example, the drones, right? What was going on with the drones and the government? What? The government doesn't care. The government can't do anything. The government is powerless. You know what I mean? So it's very destabilizing.
Yeah.
And how's that even possible in a first world country?
Right. Like, that's the psychopolitics, right, Hans?
Yeah.
Like this is it. So we're going to talk about psychopolitics, but it's happening to us right now. And we did that one show. It's the War on Humanity, the Black Pill Digest. So this is some kind of like weird, like you said, kinetic or psychological warfare, like being done by our own governments. Like it's crazy. Like it's totally insane.
Well, the thing is that it's hard to now ascertain who's actually running the show. I think is a possibility that there are distinct factions or some kind of fracturing within these elite agendas. Maybe not, but it does seem like there's some things or also things are not going exactly on the time frame in the schedule, because you have that arrogance. If you have so much success for so long, now things are not quite working at the exact same rate that they want, but then it depends on what percentage of the population is affected. So there's also that learned helplessness. Look at like North Carolina. They just, FEMA is there to basically kill the indigenous and the old pioneer stock that have been there for hundreds of years. Just eliminate them. And they're literally, I'm sure you've done shows on that, right? So the FEMA is, confiscating supplies and only helping certain people, not helping Trump voters.
It's equity, right?
Equity
in action.
Equity. We're all maggots, under the law. There is no law, right? There is no rule of law. But the other side is the psychological destabilization that comes from even hearing of these episodes, right? And there's a broadcast I heard, it was like with that truck bombing, right? We have the truck bombing in New Orleans, New Year's Eve, and this mainstream news show, and it said it looks like we're so our year is ruined. The New Year is a time of hope. Now it's just a time of despair and destruction. And your year, it's January 1st, and you're basically effed.
Wow. So that they had that, and then the electric truck so-called bombing in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Vegas at underneath the Trump not obelisk, but what's the shape of that thing? It's the big square. Anyway, yeah. So that's how the year started off, 2025. Incredible.
Yeah, and just on this tip, like in Ohio, we had, of course, a tram derailment, and then there was this bridge. This is like, I had just been on that bridge. It goes between Cincinnati and Kentucky. It's a huge bridge, right? It's a major thoroughfare, right? It's massive. And supposedly these guys started a fire in a playground and it melted this bridge.
Wow.
Literally the bridge was shut down. I mean, the steel girders are melting. And they say, they just were goofing around and started a fire. I don't think you can, have flames reaching 60 feet in the air that's going to melt steel if you're just some guy off the street. But that's, so this bridge is also a connectivity. It's a network. It's a bridge. It sort of gathers together, right? It's a crossing. So by building bridges, breaking bridges, right? So that's also sort of a semantic or a cognitive aspect of some of these things, right? Probably even behind the truck bombings, and in these other like mass shootings where they're all graduates of Fort Bragg, right?
Right. That's what ties them all together. I think Ruth was Fort Bragg, and then the two guys on the 1st of 2025. Incredible.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. So the reason I came to this topic is, being overseas during around the election. And it was very interesting to be away from America. I was kind of glad to not, I left just, I think I left like towards the end of October, but I was in, Turkey and some other locations in the Middle East. And of course, then I was there on the way back after the coup, and Turkey was like high security, right? After, the Syrian government fell, it's like, it was pretty intense. But the interesting thing was in India that, I'll give one anecdote, is that there was like the hotel doorman, and we got this hotel, and it's in a sensitive border region. I had to register at the police station, but the hotel guard or whatever, he says, "You American?" He said, "Yes." He's like, "You like Trump? You like Trump?" And I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Yeah, Trump, very good, man." He became my best friend. We love Trump. I mean, people would just say, "You American?" Yeah, they love Trump. I mean, I met many, many people in India that they're just, the whole, stock market was booming, and, many people were ecstatic about Trump winning, which is quite a contrast to the United States, right? And so I just wanted to look at this a little bit with a less jaundiced eye, being distant from America, which I'll be honest was kind of nice a little bit, just being out of the madhouse. But the distinction is that there stuff's going on. It's going on in your face, and not that stuff isn't going on here, but it's a lot more. There's a lot more street level activity and things that are happening. Even unless you're in one of these regions that's affected, or one of these bombings, most of it is disseminated through the media, disseminated through social media, through television, through video, through images. And this is how these things are entering the mass consciousness. Not just you're not in the middle of, the fire, or which you kind of are. But anyways, why don't we go ahead and run that video? So the compilation of some of the Trump derangement.
Let's do it.
People elected Donald J. Trump.
You can hear the
not too
audio,
early
right?
to take a refresher course down memory lane, is it? I'm sorry, this never gets old.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
Donald Trump will not become president.
He's not going to be president. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank. Okay. I guarantee it. All right.
I think if he becomes the president, he'll make it great, because the states is already great.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes.
On that note, Tom,
Take it from me. How about that?
Cheers, Tom.
And then, of course, there's Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump, just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he is again considering a run in 2016.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
So when you stand and deliver that State of the Union address, in no part of your mind or brain can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
He will never be president of the United States.
And we better be
right.
ready for the
we can stop
there. Be leading the Republican ticket next.
This is a 15 minutes, so this is
no. I wanted actually, I wanted just to basically see examples of people freaking out. But let's go back to the PowerPoint.
You want to go to the other? We can go to the other video. I have the other video.
That's right. Let's just go. We can start the slides here. So
okay, cool.
Slides, yeah. So
what I was trying to say, actually, that car bombing was under the Trump Tower, which is a monolith, by the way.
A monolith.
So like the monolith theme of like 2001: A Space Odyssey, the Georgia Guidestones, and all that stuff. Like, so there may be some kind of weird symbolic thing with the weird truck bombing. Like, look at this. Look at the way this tower is. That's the Trump Tower where the bombing went on. See that shape? It's a freaking the same cube shape as a monolith, right?
Yeah, and remember, this was I talked about this probably not on your show, but all these weird monoliths were appearing like in the middle of the desert in Utah and different locations, and these would just be short stories. And there was a number of instances of these strange monoliths.
Yeah, no, it could be more to this story. If you look at like this is it.
Yeah.
Whole monolith. It's like what they found at 2001: A Space Odyssey. Crazy. Anyway, let's go back here. There we go.
Okay, so we can just go through the slides here. So slide one.
Go to one. Let's go to this thing.
Okay, so I'll just read some of this. So
cool.
Liberals in deep blue New York City, shocked and disturbed by President-elect Donald Trump's election victory, are flooding shrinks' inboxes looking for appointments. It's a perfect storm for New York therapists, said Manhattan psychologist Chloe Carmichael, who estimated she received a 15% spike in inquiries from patients. It's a repeat of 2016, where a lot of people feel really scared, traumatized, and angry. And then we go to the next slide here. A Minnesota dad who ranted against President-elect Donald Trump online shot and killed his wife, ex-partner, and 2 sons before turning the gun on himself, according to authorities. The shooter, 46-year-old Adam Nephew, had a pattern of mental health issues. Duluth Police Chief Mike Chenowa said on Friday, one day after authorities found 5 people dead in 2 homes in the cities. And then authorities found Anthony Nephew's ex-partner, their son, 15. This is not the only example of where the level of derangement, they actually have killed their families and everything else. And of course, most people have probably seen people getting histrionic, getting hysterical, freaking out. But, it is really a mental illness. I mean, people are literally going insane in a variety of levels. If you want to say something, William.
Yeah, you're right. But I think that they isn't it part of like the kind of priming thing of the left to drive these, like it's a world ending event. Like Sam Harris, Trump is literally like a comet coming from outer space to destroy the earth. Like that's what he likened Trump to. So I don't know. Like I think that's what's driving people insane. They think it's like the world's ending. He's already was president for 4 years and nothing really exciting happened. No,
well, I mean, world ending by Biden. I mean, that came pretty close. So I do have. I may not have put this in the PowerPoint, but I'll just read this here. This is from the Christian Post. It says the U.S. State Department reportedly offered therapy sessions and mental health services for employees distressed by President-elect Donald Trump's recent electoral victory last week, including what one source described as cry sessions. Wow. And the Post also mentioned that an internal State Department email offered employees the opportunity to go to a 1-hour event during which they were encouraged to discuss their feelings about the presidential election. So this is from and I do have a friend, I won't mention his name, obviously, and he is a psychiatrist in Washington, D.C. And he said it's just been off the charts after the election. I mean, people are literally having psychotic breaks, are having complete mental breakdowns, like literally just, I mean, it's maybe the kind of mental breakdown you could think you have if, maybe your home blew up and you lost your whole family or something, but they're having it because Trump won the presidency even before he's been inaugurated. So, I mean, we're talking about this is not minor, right? This is not people just getting a little bit upset. Again, that's the example of that killing. So it is a real thing, and it is really dramatically affecting people. I mean, again, visualize that like a 1970s encounter therapy group. They're getting together and just crying. And these are like government officials, man.
It's unbelievable. It's so strange. They've just they've worked themselves up into a frenzy, like you said, histrionics or whatever. It's just like, this is too much. It's take a deep breath. Like, they need to take a huge 1,000-pound chill pill or something. I don't get it. I'm not in their kind of wind tunnel echo chamber, so I don't get it. I don't know. But yeah, they hate Trump. They hate his guts.
No, absolutely. And well, besides being in India and in Turkey also, except for I was at a couple academic conferences, those people were not happy, especially from the West. They were pretty freaked out. But most of the local people, were very, like, your country of Donald Trump. Like, if I was like a Biden supporter, I probably would have punched some of these people, which has happened, right? But the other thing I thought about, like, how can I create an analogy? This is an event that it may affect. Okay, I understand if you work in Washington, as my friend who's a psychiatrist stated, you may lose your job. Okay, but this always happens with change of administration. And Biden obviously was a sinking Titanic, sinking ship. But like, how do you get so invested in an event that A, you can't do anything about it once it's happened, B, you're going to go along with your life. So why is it affecting you on such a level? And I remember, when I was in college, this friend of mine was a big football fan, and his favorite team lost and, lost the Super Bowl. He went and started destroying like the dorm, throwing chairs out of windows, smashing lights, like he was a football player himself. He just went on this destructive rampage because his football team lost. To me, that's similar to this type of investiture in this election, but in a certain way, it's more understandable, a football fan, but in a certain way, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Because it's hard to find analogies for this.
Yeah, it's like the person loses the game of Risk, or they're losing Monopoly, so they just turn the whole board upside down. Because that's what it's kind of happening. Like, they're already plotting the resistance, and we're trying to uphold democracy by subverting the democratic process. There's a lot of very strange kind of contradictions in their thinking, but yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting ride. What happens? I wonder if it'll be a retread of like them punching Trump in the face the entire time between like 2016 and 2020. I wonder if that's going to be a second term. Like, they're going to come up with like the Russian hoax scam or whatever. So we'll see. I bet they're prepping for something. Like, I mean, they've said like the Raskin is one of the Democratic leaders. Like, we're going to subvert everything. And I mean, it's incredible. There's only 2 days left before he gets installed. But I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the next year or 4 years? What do you think? That they're not going to roll over? I don't think they're planning on rolling over.
Yeah, probably not. But I think, I hope that some of these, the DEI policies have really failed spectacularly. The illegal immigration with, active carousels, which we're seeing, I think they're being activated. I said this about a decade ago, that a lot of these immigrants are actually potentially cells or sleeper cells or groups that can be activated, not necessarily directly, right? Which we can get into how this you call structuralist governance, or way that commands are given indirectly, or just as in, you think of the Manchurian Candidate, some kind of a trigger word, something or other. Because I do believe, as we'll go into this, that it is possible that there's other, you really have a multimodal methodology. You have narrative. This is a type of mimetic warfare, right? So, or this is a mimetic. This is a narrative. This is a story people are invested in. So, and essentially, this is a type of mimetic warfare that people are responding to, right? The way people are flipping out. Maybe, I don't know. I don't like to expound and get too speculative, but it's possible that both of the sides of this equation are being steered for, you could call a synthesis, right? A dialectical synthesis, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Who knows? But it's really, I mean, I can't think of before Trump. I mean, did anybody really get that upset about presidential elections? People may not have been happy, but they didn't go berserk like this, did they? Or maybe during Nixon or something?
I don't know. Maybe if you'd have to go back, maybe Lincoln or something. Lincoln gets elected. Not this century. I can't think of anything offhand. Maybe like some of the anarchists got angry at some of the elections or something, but not on such a vast scale here, where like the entire culture is weaponized against their opponents. So like, it's not just the political class; it's the cultural class, just like we saw in these TDS videos. So I don't know. I don't remember it in my lifetime. So I'm 56. So people just kind of put up maybe the battle between Bush and Gore in 2000, but it didn't have this kind of like apocalyptic element to it, like the world was going to end or get hit by a comet or something. It was just like, oh, this is terrible. But that was probably a fixed election too. 2000, I think 2000 and 2004 probably. All engineered, but
well, Nader, actually, I voted for Nader in that election. I remember that. Yeah, the Bush Corps. I mean, people, they're invested in it, but nobody flipped. Nobody. Here's the thing. I mentioned the example of the guy, probably not listening to the show, right? Who started throwing chairs out the window of the dorm and smack, But this is distinct in that, rationally, why are you having a mental breakdown? What effect is this having? How are you so externally invested in this? And there's millions and millions of people that have gone through this. If something happens you don't like, if you want to change it, having a friggin' mental breakdown like a petulant toddler is not going to change anything. But it's also this sense of violence and literally, I mean, complete nervous breakdown. They used to, in the 19th century, like women's hysteria, right? It's hysteria. We can go to the next slide if you want.
It's an interesting word too, hysteria. It's a root word is hysterectomy or hysteria or women, right? So it's like associated with women. But I was in LA and talking to people during the last Trump administration, and this is like epicenter of TDS, and they just were going like literally. I talked to one woman; she was shaking. I was like, wow. I said I wouldn't care if Trump left. We'd just be stuck with Pence. And then she started shaking even more. She hadn't thought through it. She hadn't thought through like, what if Trump leaves and then you're stuck with Pence? Like, it was too much. Like, it's like not rational. There's something. The psychopolitics are way too intense, and they're being driven. These people are being like almost psychically driven by their political leaders, political and cultural leaders. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. And it is unprecedented, right? And so, people can look the stuff up. Go ahead and hit the next slide. And just as another example. So I'll read this. A space rocket program manager butchered her father with an ice axe on election night after a breakdown following President-elect Donald Trump's victory, and was found smiling and clapping, covered in her loved one's blood. What do you think about that?
I'm not surprised. It's incredible. Have you heard of these? Have you seen the video out there of the women talking about poisoning their loved ones who are Trump sympathetic?
Oh yeah, that's so this is the well, I think that's the next
is that you have that on the
I just mentioned it. I just compiled this. And then so finish this. Corey Burke considered the bloody rampage in which she allegedly strangled, bit, and hacked her 67-year-old father in the $800,000 Seattle home they shared an act of liberation, charging documents allege. So again, this is a space rocket program manager. This is someone with their I won't try not to swear anymore. Their shit together. This is someone who is supposedly a high functioning individual. And she, it's like something out of a horror movie. I mean, even biting and eating her father's corpse. So this is, and this is not the only example of these, this level of absolute, we're not talking again like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm maybe emotionally unstable. No, we're just absolute, complete psychosis, complete break from reality, like madness, beyond, like their minds are shattered. This is, and again, how do you connect an external event with, okay, good, you cannot play that. But how do you connect an external event and let it affect your interior landscape so much? How can you function in life?
Right. No, it's incredible. This is the whole thing I was talking about. These are the women talking about poisoning their husbands. You ready? There's some kind of Italian word they use. Can you hear this audio?
Yeah. So this
Julia
is
Tofana.
Yeah. Yep. 600 husbands she murdered.
Yeah. Belladonna and other toxins.
Aqua Tofana.
Yeah, Aqua Tofana. Disguised as cosmetics. They were unable to determine the cause of death in the men. Debated whether Julia was found and tried after a woman got cold feet or whether she would die of old age. Watch.
Aqua Tofana. Am I right? Aqua Tofana. If you know, you know.
Poisoning the drinks of male Donald Trump supporters. Aqua Tofana. Fears about abortion rights. Are they really valid fears? I mean, come on. Accumulated millions of views. But yeah, I wish there was Aqua Tofana. Here's another one that she's about to go. Here we go. Poison Rain.
They're investing in Poison Rain. I mean, they're serious about this.
Vice for American Women. I know you will understand this. They got the poison in the ring. They pour. Yeah, people better be careful, man. These people are deranged.
This is
TDS writ large, man.
And this will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy.
It appeared to be a day of mourning on The View.
I'm obviously very disappointed. I'm very sad.
It's been very difficult, but boy, oh boy, do we have a country if we can keep it.
People didn't come out. I don't know why, and it doesn't even matter. He's now the president. I'm still not going to say his name.
Former Republican Congressman Joe Scarborough turned Morning Joe host.
You lost 50-0.
Conversation quickly shifted to the reasons Harris failed. Some blamed President Biden.
Biden should have dropped out a year ago or 2 years ago.
The timing, I think, of President Biden's decision to step down after the debate, something that if she...
Harris is a truly terrible candidate.
He's just one of the worst candidates of all time.
Of all time, come on, man.
It's not like there's any secret that she slept her way to the top. She did that podcast talking about how to give fellatio to ascend the corporate ladder. She during her election campaign, and absolutely incompetent, despised, lazy,
achieved nothing to show. They literally like put out a book of all of her achievements when she was the vice president, and they couldn't list anything. And then she did her whole campaign as what she was going to do in the future when she became president. But why didn't she do it now? Like, why haven't you had 4 years to implement these things? You haven't done anything. She couldn't find freaking Iran on a map. I mean, it's so bad. She's a real true poster child for the DIE movement and how anti-civilizational it is. There's a journalist out here, he wrote San Francisco. His name's Schellenberger, and he's like, these people aren't just incompetent, they are anti-civilizational. Like, putting these people into positions of power could end up in the destruction of the civilization. And I don't think he's exaggerating. I really don't.
No, I mean, absolutely. And that's why, I mean, there is some, comic aspects. And probably, I found a few like hour-long compilations, but you see these people and their postings. I mean, they are absolutely deranged, but they're deranged in a murderous frenzy, right? The Aqua Tofana, or Tofina, however you pronounce it. I mean, this is obviously true. And the woman, she sold it, and 600 men died from the woman selling this poison. And they're showing this. It's
a viral bunch of clips all over. You can go to TikTok and just watch them. This is
you would talk about a crime. This is premeditated murder, and they don't. And then of course there was a thing of the the sex fasting, not sleeping with men, this and that. But this is. I mean, we're talking about, like, going back to that news story, the space rocket engineer, just have that image in your mind. I mean, this happened. This is like a horror movie. Chopping her father to death, smiling and clapping, covered in blood, eating his body. That is really an act of liberation. And it's very, very, it's distressing.
It's really distressing. She was a power lesbian. So you see, this is the article about it. I wish I was smiling and laughing it up.
$800,000 home.
I wish I was a crisis. Yeah, I wish I had an $800,000. Oh, there she is. Well, she's married to trans author Samantha Lee Allen. Oh no. Oh no. Act of liberation, just like you said. There it is. Crazy. Smiling. She worked at the Daily Beast. Wow. Oh, so her husband or boyfriend or whatever it is, or other.
That's
wow, crazy.
Power lesbian. Corey Burke murders her father with an ice axe in meltdown.
A training manager at Jeff Bezos' rockets and spacecraft company. She confessed to killing her father after he refused to turn off the lights, claiming there was something important about Election Day.
I mean, this is like, there's the author Gide. Anyone knows Gide is a French writer, wrote about World War I, very, and other things, and the most like darkly, he's sardonic, dark humor. I mean, in one level, this is really hilarious, but in another level, it's absolutely terrifying. You know what I mean? Like, it is a power lesbian. I mean, murders. So there it is on a platter handed to you. But maybe I think in one level there is humor, because it's reached such a point of absurdity, but yet should be understood that you have a huge swath of the population that's now mentally unhinged, but not unhinged, say like depression, maybe to a certain extent, but unhinged like violence, sabotage, murder.
Right. Wow, crazy. There's a lot of different videos on here that I'm just looking at about this Aqua Tofana. It's all over the place.
Yeah, in fact, if you go to my next slide, I think I mentioned Aqua Tofana, but go show more of that because I think that's okay. Oh, but go ahead and play that clip.
Okay,
the
let's
second
go.
YouTube clip.
This one, this is, I can go back. This is the other
does in fact lose, will be under a microscope.
One senior official I just talked to said Biden will hold a lot of blame for it, and frankly, they said he should.
The soul searching has only just begun. Trudy McIntosh.
Do you want me to find some more Aqua Tofana clips? Because
so that first link I sent you, the one that this is the one that has the liberal
Zero Hedge one.
No, it's it ends with 3S, the one I sent you twice.
Okay,
that first one, yeah. It's on that document. I
have it somewhere. Let's see.
So this is basically where, before Trump was elected, they're literally calling for violence. They're inciting violence, and it's.
Oh yeah, I do have that. Hold on. Okay, present, share screen. No video. So they're calling for violence. Where is it? I had too many
it's on
party. It's the party of violence is the one you want, right?
Yeah, it's right there. The link is on the PowerPoint.
You always ask
This
me,
one.
don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish.
I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
That you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
President Walker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
When they go low, we kick them.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please,
Madonna.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
That's it. That's done. But and actually, so there's many more examples of this direct. This is you talk about a thought crime, right? I mean, people get jailed in various countries for whatever, violating the party guidelines. This is calling for violence. People like moving. Go ahead.
Well, this is the other thing that one of the links you had, which is Trump wins, move to Canada searches spike, liberals meltdown online. So you can just see this interest over time.
Look at that. It's not a curve. It's just straight up.
Some far left voters faced a mental health crisis overnight. White dudes for Harris meltdown over Trump. Let's see if we can get this to play. Oh, let me see if I can find this. Oh, geez. I'll have to go back and look at this. Holy smokes. Let me see if I can download some of these videos.
That corpulent guy, that's entertaining if you could play that.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. But I mean, so the people are thinking this, but aren't they just ramping each other up? Like there's some kind of phenomenon of like, they're not helping each other by like freaking out over each other, like the world is ending.
Well, there's a few different factors, right? And so I chose to go with one. I would say there's like three to four or even five separate streams or trends that are happening, right? One of them being the externalization of self into social media into the external environment, right? Not having any type of center. Your entire emotional experience is actually, you're just a reactive force, right? You have no ability for inner reflection. And in a sense, you're living in a type of dissociative state. There's also the idea, of course, mass formation psychosis. There's the stuff we'll get into, which I think is also part of it. So we also have media type of triggering, okay? And we have images. It's very analogous, as I mentioned, activating terror cells, right? You activate the terror cell, or you activate these mass movements, structureless governance. You do it, you don't even have to issue a direct command. It trickles down. The message goes out. Even people don't know they've received the message. So that's another aspect, right? It's an encoding. And then, which we'll get into today, is one of the points I focused on, is actual frequency, electromagnetic, electrochemical manipulation, including changing memory, including inciting emotional states. And we can bring that further. But go ahead. Oh, this is awesome.
This is
this is good.
Trump's actually gonna win this fucking thing. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm so pissed off. Fuck! God damn it!
LOL cow. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of these cases. I mean, there's one posting of just video after video after video. Let me see if I can bring it up. I don't have any volume for this, but it's just like incredible. Like, you see somebody has compiled these videos. Like, it's just off the charts. This
and for those that they couldn't see that, just listening, that last clip, it's, in a certain way, it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen, but it's also tragic. But it's the guy's ripping his clothes off and going nuts. I mean, but yeah, go ahead and show some of the stuff, because it's amazing, right? I mean, this is a massive phenomenon.
Yes,
it's not a limited, isolated. But I want to call your attention to the fact that you see similar oh my God, I love this one. Oh man. It's
like all color haired females too. Like, I'm trying to find a man who isn't freaking out. That one guy was. There's another one. Why can't people be smart? How did this happen?
But William, did you notice a similar physiognomy? Some kind of deportment is similar between all these people, right? Do you see that? Look
at her face. Oh my God, she's lost it. Holy smokes. Oh, here's a guy. We found a dude crying. I just want the freedom to love without fear. Like, what? This is like a detachment from reality. Like, where is that in anybody's policy that there's some kind of anti-LGBT thing? It's all in their heads.
Keep going. Look at this. What do we do now?
I mean, it just goes on and on. This is over. Like, we're on like the 20th video.
It's amazing. But do you see that they look at their face? I mean, look at their facial muscles. Every one of them have some shared characteristics. Do you see this?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
It's weird.
No, this is just incredible. Like, this girl has lost it. She looks like she could be in a freaking mental institution. Like, crying.
Oh my, she's like absolutely insane.
To Orange being elected. A teacher in her classroom crying at work.
What is the quote?
Oh, look at this guy. This is almost like a This is almost like a comedy skit. Their fear of the future, all women's futures, and the LGBTQ whose lives will be changed forever by Trump coming into power. Oh my God.
Crying as a trans person, realizing my rights are gone and I'm done for. I mean,
no, this is definitely some kind of mass formation. You're right. Like, it's like they just, like a button was flipped and these people went looped. They're not very attractive. I mean, going to kind of be a jerk here, but these are not like attractive people to me.
I mean,
they're all you talk about physiognomy, like it's like, whoa. Feminine rage is real. These videos keep going. I'm just scrolling.
And look at this one. I mean, just these complete emotional, histrionic meltdowns, and they're being supported, covered in tears. But it has this. The other thing is, understand, like you see her swearing, right?
Yeah.
There's a rage. There's a rage and a hatred and a violence, right? It's not just like
she got that bone in her nose thing going too.
She doesn't have a bone through her nose. So I'm scared to close. It goes on and on.
Yeah. I'll put a link to this. This is Cassandra McDonald's from November 6, 2024.
Yeah, could you play that now?
I can't get the video for this, but look at them. They're just all crying.
Can you go to the Aqua Tofana again? Because so basically we're looking at histrionic emotional meltdowns. But the thing that's interesting, again, whatever it is, right? We could do analysis, but do you not see something in the gaze, the facial muscles, the body posture? There's something that's absolutely in tandem, right? There's something that's absolutely in a type of a resonance, or I mean, it's hard for me to. There's almost like a possession, like a demonic possession. They're all possessed by the same demon or something. I mean, okay,
yeah. This is the Aqua Tofana clip. Like poisoning water. It's just. Let me see if I can find another one. But yeah, poison rings.
Eminem's song Venom.
Poison. Yeah, I wonder if anybody started to die yet. Any men mysteriously died over the last couple of months.
I'm sure. I mean, we'll just play some more of this. I don't know if you want me to narrate it. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Or just audio.
Let me see if I can find a better clip.
So the poison is flavorless, untraceable after death, stored in ordinary cosmetic vials. So you got taste my venom. So Eminem's song Venom, the effing world better get laced. They're gonna taste my venom. Poison. Again, we talked about poison rings. I mean, and this is not abstract. People are doing this. Are you ladies interested in investing in poison rings? So it's a business, right? People are making money off of this.
Along with the millions of people who turned out in person in America to vote, many more tuned in to watch the outcome play out live on cable TV.
As Donald Trump's comeback became clearer,
it's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare.
Over on MSNBC, the blame was placed on one key demographic.
Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not. And this will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy.
It appeared to be a day of mourning on The View.
I'm obviously very disappointed. I'm very sad. It's been very difficult, but boy, oh boy, do we have a country if we can keep it.
People didn't come out. I don't know why, and it doesn't even matter. He's now the president. I'm still not going to say
Oprah looks like a Cthulhu, H.P. Lovecraft monster now, like Cthulhu.
Who watches the View?
Young female friendship group of about six.
No. So we'll get some clips of these people acting crazy.
Progressive.
By so-called Australian influencer Abby Chatfield.
If you're a woman in Australia and you think the US election doesn't affect us, just know they now have permission to be outwardly sexist and support a rapist.
Pause for a second. Pause for a second. So check this out. Now, remember we went to that thing of the power lesbian. She was clapping. Notice this clapping.
Yeah.
It's very odd. Okay, go ahead. Yep.
This is Australia. She's got TDS all the way in the southern hemisphere.
What I'm saying, it's not localized, right?
Right.
But yeah, go ahead.
No. But they now have permission. They now think they are the majority, and they're so uneducated that they think that because they're the majority, they are right. They now have permission to be racist, transphobic. They have permission to laugh about our reproductive health and our reproductive freedoms. Australia follows suit when it comes to America.
The hysteria and misinformation is frightening. Trump's victory has nothing to do with hating women. In fact, female turnout was a significant part of Kamala Harris's election loss. Exit polls conducted by CNN showed that the Democratic vice president had an 8-point advantage among women voters, but that was nearly half of what Joe Biden had mustered 4 years ago. According to the Washington Post, the gender gap was 11 points, significant, but mostly in line with previous elections, suggesting this wasn't largely about men being unwilling to vote for a woman. It's because men voted for their hip pocket. They want to work, get a job, help pay the bills. That is not misogynistic. It comes from desperation, a place caused by the left. You see, the Democrats expected women to vote for a candidate simply because of her sex, not for her principles, her beliefs, or what she stood for, but because she is a woman. And clearly voters saw through it. Donald Trump easily demolished Harris because he was the better candidate. And the left are struggling to accept this because their whole narrative has been shot to pieces. In fact, we now have a situation in the US where liberal women are shaving their heads to protest the patriarchy.
And I'm talking to you too, those of you ladies who have the internalized misogyny required to do what you did.
I'm sorry, it is really funny. I mean, in a very sad way. Oh my God.
Did they become like Moonies or like members of the Manson family?
I mean, it's
like
just,
shave your head, like whoa.
I mean, again,
South Korea's fringe feminist 4B movement. I'm afraid to
so
this
4B movement. You pause. So the 4B movement is, I don't know if you're familiar with this, right? Mm-hmm. The 4B movement. So I've looked into this, and it's literally cut down the fertility rate of South Korea drastically. And if you think about K-pop, right? Korean pop, with all the very, attractive, mostly attractive female, whatever, but they have, it's a kind of extreme feminist movement, and it has, like, we're talking not, in two figures has dropped the fertility rate of South Korea. I mean, that's
South Korea's fertility rate isn't a replacement level. It's 0.7.
Yeah, that's because the 4B movement has been a major causal factor in this.
You know what that means? Do you know how catastrophic that is?
Absolutely, that's genocidal. So let me just read this. So the 4B or 4 no's. Now, again, this is a radical movement, but this radical movement has become mainstream. Okay, it's not like you're like Sid and Nancy, Sid Vicious, and there's like maybe 50 or 100 or 1,000 punk rockers in a particular state. We're talking like massively. So the 4 B's or 4 no's. So no, right, is a radical feminist movement originated in South Korea. So the B means no. So no sex with men, no giving birth, no dating men, no marriage with men. These are the protocols of this. And let me see if I can I want to.
I think even to this day, Hans, women's roles in Korea are very oppressive. Like the female is like it's not a modernized relationship. It may be externally, but internally, like the woman is like stays at home, does the dishes.
So William, I'm sharing that. You see, this is the icon with the upside. You see the upside down cross?
Wow.
And the black power fist. This is the 4B logo. Look at that.
I didn't know that.
This pretty weird. Like, look at this logo. It's so again. Look at that. Is that not an upside down cross?
Yeah, it 100% is.
And then look at this. That particular colors are very important, and this is a very particular shade of purple, right? Associated with types of satanic occult practices. It's a powerful logo, though, and like that. I mean, it's kind of scary, right? It's like you see it in a horror movie almost. I'll stop sharing, but yeah. So the 4B movement, look, and let me say this. Like, I mean, I have, I absolutely respect women. If I didn't, I'd be beaten. Because women are very powerful. My wife is very powerful, and it's nothing like that. Of course, I don't need to explain myself, but this 4B movement is a movement of genocide. The species. This is a self-destruct command to the human species, and you saw that in Korea. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just trying to tinker around with it. No, you're right. It's self-destructive. And it says on even the Wikipedia site, it says now it's moved to the United States. It has since spread internationally, namely to the United States after its 2024 presidential election.
But, it's not like I don't have to go that far afield, right? It's not that I'm deploying a specious argument or just speculating. If you look at that logo, it has a type of symbolic resonance. It's very disturbing, right? It really is. It's almost like it's almost worse than an upside down pentagram. I mean, it's absolutely a satanic logo. It is a logo of the annihilation of logos. But it's very popular in the United States. This 4B movement is spreading, at least among the particular demographic that's deciding to basically, we are, however you want to define the human organism, the human species, human culture, society, history, basically on the base level, we are a biological being. What is the most important protocol of a biological being is to reproduce. If you stop reproducing, you become extinct. And that is, this is whether or not you have religious, spiritual beliefs or not. Like, if you're against that in such a violent way, I mean, again, just to reiterate, again, this is spreading big time. No sex with men. So the 4Bs means the 4 no's. Again, no sex with men, no sex, no giving birth, no dating men. And in fact, one of the other things that I'll have listed here, no friendship with men. Like, you have no connection with men other than some kind of professional or business sense. And of course, no dating men, no marriage with men. So Byuchichan, no children. So there's like Jung Se-young and Black Hana. So marriage is a gender role. It started from the escape the corset movement, sexual, social, bodily, and psychological oppression. I mean, I know, yes, women can be oppressed, but I think also makeup rituals in a sense. So it's, look, women, okay, I hopefully I don't get attacked by mom, but I mean, like, women in general, at least women that are feminine, they like to be pretty. They like to, it's something, there's an element of beauty. I mean, I think there's a feminine quality that men don't have, right? Arranging a home, creating this nice thing. I mean, this is this is literally, it's supposedly against men. I think it's destroying femininity as well as destroying the human species.
Right. No, it's incredible. This is fairly recent too, according to even Wikipedia. This 4B is like in the last 10 years or something like that. It's
2016. Yes, it's like, it's about what decade, 9 years old, but it's very powerful and has really taken extreme it's become very, very prominent. Anyways, we can continue. We'll leave the 4B movement behind, but
let's keep watching this video. Let's see what happens.
Media posts and internet search interest in South Korea's fringe feminist 4B movement, which calls on women to refrain from dating, having sex with men, having kids, and marrying men. Would you believe it? You cannot make this stuff up. And where is it coming from? Well, here is the liberal media blaming white women for Trump's success.
Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not. This will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy. And
the narrative does not stack up. The media and the Democrats learned nothing from 2016 when Hillary Clinton expected women to get her over the line. Instead, the Harris campaign patronised conservative women. It was so bad, actress Julia Roberts narrated an ad urging women not to tell their husbands who they voted for.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose, you can vote any way you want, and no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey. Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls.
I mean, it's just truly pathetic. The Democrats really thought that women would have to lie to their husbands about how they vote. It assumes that women are not concerned by issues facing the country. It assumes that women don't understand and can't even think for themselves. And it assumes that Harris banging on about reproductive rights and abortions would be sufficient. Because, of course, that must be the only thing women care about, right? God forbid women caring about the cost of living crisis. And Trump's win wasn't just a vote for a better economy or better security. It was a vote against the establishment, a vote against the woke, the left-leaning media, open borders and uncontrolled immigration, encampments on college campuses run by terrorist sympathisers, men infiltrating women's sport, men allowed into women's only spaces under the guise of being trans, the obsession with DEI, diversity, equality and inclusion. Americans rejected the lies they've been fed by the left. So the woke have really no business crying, apparently shaving their heads and having meltdowns over Trump's win because it's all their own fault. Their own carry-on helped hand Trump a win. And I would say now to the left in Australia, take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror because the game is over. Anthony Albanese should be worried. The culture wars started by him, like the Voice referendum, matter. Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, the face of the No campaign, told The Australian today the US election has shown people are beginning to wake up to the fact that they are allowed to vote on the basis of merit rather than race or any other identity. Now, I'm sure the young women sitting next to me on the train the other night will probably never really have an open, in-depth discussion about the ins and outs of Trump's victory and poor old Kamala Harris, but they represent so much about what is wrong with the sentiment of the left. And that narrative was blown apart on November 5. Well done to the US for standing up to it. And let's hope Australia does the same at the next federal election. On Wednesday.
Yeah. That's why I kind of I had the idea for the show. When the fire started and, other stuff, I kind of delayed it, but it is important to really put some attention into this because it's an important phenomena. It is powerful. has potential resonance, but it also maybe it's like a maybe it's just a genetic, like origin of the species, right? The Darwinism. So they're basically going, these particular mindset are going extinct, but it's
really crazy. Like the how these people are so ramped up, even internationally. And it's strange. It's an interesting example of international psychopolitics. I mean, it's really something else. It's the other thing is like, what were they thinking when they decided people for important jobs outside of competency or merit? Like that is really questionable. Like, who wants to have somebody who's flying your plane who didn't go through or doing brain surgery or heart surgery or orthopedic surgery on you, who got some kind of benefit? Like, I mean, Kamala Harris is a perfect example. Do you know that she got into law school not on a diversity hire, but an adversity? So like,
really?
So she got into a pretty good school, Hastings. I couldn't get into Hastings law school in San Francisco. She got in because she had an adverse background, even though both of her parents were college professors.
And the thing is that she does not look. So they're from, people may not know this, right? So they're from a Tamilian Brahmin. So it's a very high caste in India, very generations, I mean, thousands of years of high intellectual capacity, and very, in terms of, generally speaking, in terms of marriage, very strict, right? You have to marry within that caste, right? But this is a very high caste of Brahmin. Especially,
what you're saying is there's a high caste within the caste of Brahmanism.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The highest caste is Brahmins.
Well,
and then within that, there's even a higher structure and internal structure.
Absolutely. There's something called Gotra. Gotra means thread, right? So Gotra goes back to these rishis. You have Bharat Rishi, whatever, the different rishis. These are the descents that go back to whatever thousands and thousands of years ago. So the particular Gotra means thread. That's your lineal descent through this genetic heritage and heritage of particular abilities, skills, talents, intelligence. So it's a eugenics program in a good sense, right? People think of eugenics as being, I mean, of course it means good birth. People mostly think of eugenics as being, well, we can talk about dysgenics.
Dysgenic, right?
The 4B is a dysgenic movement, but in that, you look at the aristocracy, right? You're going to marry to another aristocratic family.
Yeah, that's the concurrency in all kind of hereditary monarchist or aristocratic countries in the world. I think that goes for almost every country to this day. And the caste system in India was supposed to be suppressed by Gandhi, but it's still extant.
Yeah. Well, that's a different topic. I won't touch.
But it is kind of interesting because even that, like, she portrays herself as some kind of like, I grew up in a divorce house. Both of her parents are professors. One at Stanford, the other at Berkeley. Like, these are high-powered universities.
Well, so I want to say this, not to be, nobody take this I'm not a quote unquote racist, but Tamilians, right? Tamils, they're Dravidian, original inhabitants of India. They have very dark skin, right? Look at her mother. These are Dravidians. They have the Aryan, the Indo-Aryans coming in. If her father is a African, she looks I don't think that's her father. Her father was a white man. I would almost bet any amount of money. There's no way that you have a Tamilian with an African and you're going to have someone who looks almost Caucasian. It's impossible. It will not happen. And so I don't think this is maybe speculative, but I mean, because, and also, like I said, the Tamil Brahmin, they keep very pure bloodlines normally, right? It's very strict marriage. And
arranged marriage is still kind of common in India to this day. Arranged marriages,
absolutely. And I'll say one thing that people. I mean, my wife is from India. I will say this, but the arranged marriage, they have talk about love marriage and arranged marriage in India, right? But the thing about an arranged marriage is that it is not such a bad concept. I hate to say this. You match the interests. They also look at very much on the astrological charts of the matching. They look at the whole family histories. And then in the marriage, the love comes ideally, right? Of course, there's lots of, you can look at, say, Haryana, for example, where there is abuse, right? For sure. But arranged marriages end up having very stable and very happy marriages without divorce, because the whole, it's sort of like ordained by fate, right? I mean, of course, they have a choice.
If it's a love marriage, it's just based on love, right? They don't go through, they think about it like family backgrounds and things like that, but
it's not forced.
Calculation isn't the same, right?
But it's not forced. It means that they have a choice, both bride and groom, but the parents will choose the prospective partner, and they can review the partner and say, I mean, yes, occasionally maybe but it's basically they have a choice. But a lot of times they, with this compatibility that's being done, a lot of times they have very stable and strong marriages with, happy, healthy families. And I'll be honest, who is, at least on the books, who's the wealthiest ethnic group in America is Indians, right? They're mopping the floor with white men in terms of career success. There's other points, but they're very, very disciplined. When I was in India, I got to, go to a number of universities. There's not, now the woke stuff is starting to filter there, but you see really strong educational protocols, strong sense of discipline, connection with family. Yes, you can look at different problems, but overall, you can see a cultural basis. It's a little bit stronger than the United States. And I just went a little bit tangentially here.
No, it kind of plays into it, but I think you're right. And actually a lot of ethnic people in the U.S. make more money than white males on average. So the white male boogeyman is it's a farce overall. It's just another distortion of reality, but much like the psychopolitics of TDS and Trump hatred and all that.
Yeah. But I think, hopefully you can always edit it. We're live. Okay. Well, I guess you can edit.
We are.
Okay. Live. Oh my gosh.
We're at the almost 80-minute mark. Can you believe it? We've done 80 minutes. Yeah.
Man, William, it's like you're my best friend I never met in person. Right. It's so much fun. We keep going.
A lot of people, a lot of my guests I haven't met because you guys are all over the place in Ohio and East Coast. But it has to happen at some point. There has to be some kind of thing. If I could afford it, I would do it. But have a meeting or something. The listeners, we've got about 200 listeners on X. So thank you for listening, everybody. Check out Hans Uter. I'll put a link to his website and his work. He was working on Eyes Wide Open. I know his podcast was on it, but also he is a musician, sitar player. If you haven't heard our earlier shows, go back to the beginning and check those out. Check out the intro to this so you can listen to some of our other ones. We did one on MK Ultra for the masses, and the other one was Soviet cybernetics. Advanced Soviet research, cybernetics, biofields, energetics, and cognitive assessments. I think is what it was.
Yeah.
So check those out. But this is a really important subject because I don't think it's going to stop. I think that they're going to get played, and these people are going to get whacked out and strike out or poison their husbands or poison people. There's a lot of weird strange interactions I've had that I haven't had in the US, and they've been happening to me recently, like weird views and uncomfortable looks, and so this whole kind of we're all in this together, I think, is falling apart. I really think some people give me nasty looks and some people look away, so there's it's getting strange. I literally couldn't get served in a coffee shop in Sunnyvale, Northern California. I just walked in. I was too white, and the people who owned it were not white, and it was the weirdest thing. They couldn't just come up and ask me if I wanted a cup of coffee. I'd never experienced that before, really. So It was weird. Like America's going, like it's not going the right direction. It's getting worse. And yeah, so people be careful out there, man. You can get poisoned if you're like an ardent Trump supporter and your wife is, and I'd be sleeping with one eye open, man. I'm not kidding. Are you still there? Hey,
yes, I am.
Okay.
Speaking of women, my wife just told me that time to wrap up. But
okay, yeah, let's wrap it up. Yeah, why don't you tell people where people find your stuff and
okay, yes,
stuff? Maybe we can do a part 2.
Yeah. Well, I think if you see my PowerPoint, maybe we'll just do a teaser here for the next. Go to the next slide, and we'll hit some more deeper stuff. So yeah, my website hanshunter.com. I play guitar. I got home at 4 a.m. last night. I was playing guitar, and I had people compare me to Steve Vai and Jeff Beck.
Nice.
So I'm a pretty good guitarist, I guess. I mean,
good comparison.
I got kind of ended up hanging out with some promotion people, and that's why I also got. Here's the thing: a lot of times when the wife scolds the husband, you got to listen to it because maybe you messed up. So that's the thing. I think there's a balance, and to me, women are wonderful, right? I mean, anyways. Let me just hit this real quick. Last few minutes. So this is a teaser. I mean, if you don't mind, maybe we could do another episode because we just. Again, my outline, we didn't even get through. We got to like 3 points. So this slide is, could there be more to the story? And this is a quote from a NATO document. Now, luckily I had the document. It's deleted from the NATO website now. But Commander Cornelius von der Clau. So let me just read this. The reason why cognitive attacks go unnoticed by their targets is that cognitive activities bypass the conscious mind and directly target the subconscious of a person. Next thing, most of our decisions are made by the subconscious. Cognitive attacks are not science fiction anymore. They are taking place now. Nanotechnology can be used to bring nano-sized robots close to a neuron via the bloodstream and make it possible to link the human brain directly, i.e. not intercepted by our senses, to a computer, making use of artificial intelligence in the process. While other domains can provide tactical and operational victories, the human domain is the only domain in which we can secure a full victory. Commander Cornelius van Clau, who is a NATO commander. So this is not criticizing this. This is saying this is an operational parameter or protocol. So we can, I think maybe
that's a good place to end. Weaponized psychology. That's really it. These people don't know that their psychology is being weaponized, much like everything else in the world, whatever else is going on, politics and food and things like that. But you're right. They don't understand. The people who are the victims of this are victims. They're unwitting victims in a way, much like other cult members. And you could tell these people they are in a cult, but they would say, no, you're in a cult. They would do the actual cult response, which is, no, I'm not. You are. You're a Trump lover or whatever. But we'll save everything for the next show. We'll do another one. But the title of this one was The Trump Derangement Syndrome, Psychopolitics and the Mass Mind with Dr. Hans Uter. Check out our other shows. And Hans, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
William, it's just a great pleasure joining you again. And I wish everyone all the best for a productive, happy, healthy, creative, prosperous new year. I'm not a doomsayer. I'm an absolute optimist. So so I wish everyone all the best, and thank you, William, for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks to everybody that's listening.
Amen to that. All right. Thanks. Till next time, guys. Thanks for listening.